Hello everybody, welcome back to the James Lawrence Allcott channel. Welcome Chelsea fans, I'm sure you're very happy. Spurs fans, I'd love to hear from you guys because that was miles off. Absolutely miles off. And it's one of those where you're hoping for a new Messiah, and Antonio Conte didn't do too much wrong. Maybe you can have a go at his lineup here. But they're just miles off, Spurs. You know, we saw that Liverpool game, there were some really good elements to it. But this game was pretty galling, the difference between how good Chelsea were, a Chelsea team that played some players that haven't been playing regularly, but the depth that this Chelsea squad have is pretty frightening. And with Lukaku back in, they looked a better side. But, I mean, aside from that, Spurs didn't lay a glove on them. Welcome back to the James Lawrence Allcott channel. I'm going to dive into some questions, something a little bit different. I've put some questions together here, and I want you guys to get involved as well. Of course, we'll have a look at the stats and these questions. I've got answers to all of them, so we can get into that. And the last one, as you can see, your questions. I want to get your questions in on this one because I want to know how you feel, Spurs fans. Alex, I see you, bro. Yeah, sadly, you are massive, and you scored the winner today as well when we were playing in Shoreditch. So, Alex, what a day for you, son. What a day for you. So, we've got some questions to answer, and I'm going to get into all of that. Let's maybe have a quick look at the stats just to kind of get us going, because I think there are some really, as I say, the word galling keeps coming to my mind because I thought it was really bad. Really, really bad. And in particular, it was so bad in the first half for Spurs. You know, for those of you who hadn't seen the game, or those of you who are going to watch this having not seen the game, that's what I kind of want to do with these questions, because there will be questions that you will want answered. And the first half is where this game was lost. If we have a look at the first half stats, have a look on that right-hand side. Quite happy to screenshot that for you and circle that, because that is an absolute mess. And that comes down to one of the questions, which will be, what was Spurs' game plan, which I'll answer in just a second. But yeah, the stats are pretty horrific when it comes to Spurs. Complete control for Chelsea in this game. They were brilliant, to be honest. And it's been a couple of good performances of them. You got the Liverpool game in this one, especially off the back of some difficult games for them. 10 shots in the first half. Second half, they had a lot more chances as well. And in terms of the lineups, we're going to get to that actually in a second. So let's have a look at some of these. But before we do, smash the like button for me and hit the subscribe button as well. We're trying to march our way to 150k. You can help me doing that by just moving your hand and clicking a button. So do that for me. That would be lovely. Let's have a look at these questions that we've got here. First of all, because I think the big one was Romelu Lukaku. Romelu, was he going to start? Was he going to play? How would he play? He did play, of course, and I think there's one thing I would say is that there was a hush. There was certainly a hush about Lukaku when he got the ball in the first half, and he didn't seem himself. He was sort of falling all over the place. A couple of times he sort of ran the ball out of play. Second half, he seemed to grow into it a little bit more and was able to, at times, bully the centre-backs. But overall, pretty poor performance for Lukaku. He had a good header opportunity in the first half as well that he should probably do better, at the very least hit the target. So overall, it was interesting. I think that sometimes you've got to kind of get through day by day and then you can move on from it. I think what he needs to score pretty quickly. Rory said it in his video. It's a great point, and it's an obvious point if we're honest, is score goals and they'll be happy with you. And the performance there wasn't fantastic, but what he does do is allow the rest of the team to sort of thrive. I thought Havertz looked much better. They were struggling to mark him. Mount looked better, and overall, yeah, Chelsea were just really, really great. Next question: did any reserves stake a claim? Move that up for more game time. I think there's a yes in here for sure. Let's have a look at the lineups for these, and I think we're going to have to talk about Spurs as well, because for Spurs, like I say, with them being miles off, as I've said, you've got to have a look at their squad and think, wow, how many of these players need replacing? Because you did, fly close to the sun, if that's even a phrase, and you were in the running for it all. You were challenging for it all, and you now seem a long, long way away. But anyway, that question, any of the reserve players, did they stake a claim? For Spurs, absolutely not. For Chelsea, absolutely. I was really, really impressed with quite a few of them. I would say Sol was absolutely fantastic in this game. First half, he had 100% pass completion. He had two key passes in the game as well. But I've got to say, it's one of those where I want to give him some credit, but I'm not sure I can give him too much credit, just down to the fact that it was so easy for them. The way that Spurs ended up setting up, it was just a bit like... The difference between the two was that these two, Skip and Højbjerg, and I don't know if I'm missing something here. But they're just like, no way... It's just flat. It's just really, really flat. And in terms of key passes, they offered absolutely nothing going forward. And they're just too similar for me. Play one or play the other. And get another midfielder who's got a bit more attacking verve, who can work hard enough for the team. Because they were so deep. It was a bit like last season with Mourinho, the way they played in this game. They couldn't get near them. And on the other side of that, as I said, Saul, Jorginho, always on the half turn, not much pressure on them. It was chalk and cheese in terms of the two midfields, and it allowed Saul, who has been taken off, has he not, in the other games that he's played so far, to really kind of just have... it was a parade for him, to be honest. Yes, he had a great game. Yes, I'm sure he's a good player, but he was certainly struggling for confidence, and Tuchel didn't really want to play him for quite a long time. And he absolutely ran it, to be honest. Those two in the midfield, really competent here. It was interesting to see the midfield as well, the back line as well, because I thought Azpilicueta was fantastic in the first half in particular. Second half did his defensive duties. First half, a bit better defensively. And a video that we've done on the channel previously, which has been the elbow tactic, that's what they employed here, which is something that they haven't been doing because they've had two wing backs that can play as wing backs. But in this case, they wanted to be a little bit more careful, be able to deal with Son running in behind. And what they did was they allowed Azpilicueta to sort of play almost in a back four with them and let Alonso push on. So at times it looked like a 3, and also at times Azpilicueta was kind of getting into this area, put a really nice cross in from there. So he was offering something going forward, but he gave Ziyech free rein. He was fantastic as well. 4 key chances for him in this game. And Alonso, again, you think of that first goal, it was that pressure, wasn't it, that he was able to sort of apply. And he did brilliantly in this game. And he is going to be important because from an attacking point of view, you're either going to be playing a right wing back who you don't really want to put there, Pulisic or whoever it might be. And so on this left-hand side with Chilwell out, it's going to be down to Alonso to offer a lot from an attacking point of view. And defensively, he's not always the best. But in this game, I thought he was really, really good for them. Really, really good for them. Malang Sarr, I thought he did all right. There's moments where I'm a bit concerned about him sort of going in a little bit too hard or being a bit rash with his decision-making. I think that will maybe come in time. But in terms of playing in essentially a back four at times against Kane and Son, that was pretty impressive, I would say. I think he did fine. He didn't hurt himself, and I think you might get more minutes from him moving forward. But it was Saul for me. It really was. I thought he was fantastic. 49 passes, 55 completed. Really, really solid. Moved the ball forward. But again, there wasn't really that pressure on him, which was really, really disappointing. Am I missing anyone? No, Ziyech. I guess Ziyech is another one as well. And I think that this might be keep an eye out for this, because I do wonder if they'll go down this road of having that elbow tactic, going Alonso, off you go. Says Azpilicueta, as I said, I thought was absolutely fantastic. Hopefully his injury isn't too bad, because I think Chelsea will want him there. Him playing that sort of hybrid role of being a fullback when he needs to, being almost an inverted fullback at times when he can, but also a part of a 3 with Rudiger and Malang Sarr. That might be a route that they want to go down to. But I guess with Thiago, I guess you could still do it, because Thiago Silva could go into that central position and Malang Sarr could leave and Rudiger could play on the left-hand side. But Sal Niguez, absolutely fantastic for them, I thought. And let's get back to those questions then. What were the other ones that we had? It's keeping me on task. You see what I mean? What was the Tottenham game plan? Christ knows. Christ knows. I thought they'd come out with a bit of like intensity or play in transition quickly. I thought the only player that really had a bit of a spark for them was Lucas Moura. Apart from that, it was woeful in the first half. And I think the game plan was, let's get them back to our place with a draw. But I think that's not what Conte's about, really. The wing backs, you got Doherty playing left wing back, offered nothing, and Emerson Royale. I'm just not sure. I'm really not. I'm just not sure about him at all. Game in, game out, you kind of watch him and you're just like, I looked at his passes. At one point, he had 60% pass completion. I think he sort of got it up a little bit in the last few minutes, but he was useless, if I'm honest. The midfield was like vacant. It was poor. It was really poor. I've got to be honest. And I didn't expect that from Conte. I wanted more. It's a semi-final. And in the end, he was hesitant. The team was hesitant because they've played with much more verve than they have. And I don't know. Skip and Højbjerg, it just didn't. It was poor. A lot of people talk about Skip and how great he is. Sort of screaming out for Harry Winks in that game for me in terms of the performances that I've seen from him. Was it Spursy from Spurs? The 2 goals were. I don't want to be that guy, but they were the 2. That's the weird thing, isn't it? The first one's come from Alonso's high pressing initially. Maybe they weren't expecting that, but it's a poor pass. It's poor from Emerson Royale. It's a great little pass in, and it's an easy goal for them early doors. And then the second goal, I thought they were a bit harsh in the punditry, having a go at Tanganga. He's tried to head the ball away, and they've just had a nightmare there. So from that point of view, it did feel bloody Spursy, guys, I'm afraid to say. Who was my man of the match? I thought... I can't give it to Saul. I can't do it because it was too easy for him. So I'm gonna give it to Alonso. When I was watching the game, and I do sometimes wonder if you have that bias when it's players on your side. But my man of the match was, I think it was Alonso. I thought he looked really good. The changes that Spurs made, by the way, in the second half offered up a little bit. I'm looking at the momentum bar here, which I can show you guys quickly if you want. It was. They had a little huff and a puff. But again, when I was doing these things, last year, this was the momentum bar. It was utter dominance. They were 2-0 down at half-time. They came and gave it a little bit of a huff and a puff in the second half after making an attacking substitution. And then it kind of went back to what it was, Like, let's have a look at the big chances. 1. I thought they had a little bit more than that. Shots inside the box, 7-3. Shots in total, I think it was it 16? The only save Kepa's he hasn't made many saves. The first save he made was, 60 minutes in, and it's when Kane's got a free kick. So it's not something they've truly created. It was just miles off. It was really miles off. Your questions. That was the final thing that we had here. And I'd love to hear what your questions are, guys. If anyone's got any thoughts on the performances or how they set up. I think the wing-backs for Spurs, I think that's actually one thing I was going to do. So get your questions in. I'll answer them in just a second. One thing I did want to do was, with Spurs being miles off, and I feel like I've said that title enough now, how many changes do they need to make? If we have a look at their lineup and screenshot it, then we can have a little circle around. Who, Spurs fans, talk to me. Who in this side is good enough to get you back where you're as excited as you were in 2017 when you left White Hart Lane? Because that's got to be the aim, hasn't it? And I would say Davies is not. Lloris, sure. Why not? Sanchez, no. Tanganga, I like Tanganga. But I think, he's a squad player, isn't he? If we're talking about the first 11, Emerson Royal, absolutely not. Lucas Moura feels growing, and I think he's worth sticking with. Skip, I'll reserve judgment on. But actually, what I would say is one of these two I don't think you can play both of these guys if you want to go and win titles. Do you know what I mean? And Skip's got to get a hell of a lot better. I think Højbjerg, his performance has been poor this season, but last season thought he was great. Matt Doherty, obviously not. Son, yep. Kane, yep. So there's really 3, 4 at the moment. It's pretty damning, isn't it? It's pretty damning. Let's have a look at your questions, guys. Okay. Do Tottenham get battered everywhere they go? I don't think so. I don't think that's true. Sorry, that's the first one I picked. I'm not trying to wind up. Spurs missed Eric Dyer, Jim. Liam, I think that's a really good point, mate. I would agree with that. That Spurs team isn't winning too much. Hang on, let's find the questions. Get a question mark on it. Give me a little wave. Sid van der Bort. I don't know how you can give Ziyech man of the match today, man. Did it all defensively and offensively. Relax is what I would say to that. Did I say he had a good game? Yeah. So chill your bones. Come after me, mate. I gave it to Alonso. I stand by that. How many key chances did Ziyech make? 4. How many did Alonso make? 4. All right. Craig Miles, is Kane as good as we think he is? He needs some service, doesn't he? Is any striker going to do much when it's Doherty and Emerson Royal? Or Royal, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. He's obviously in a bad place overall, but there's still that quality at times. He's just not really getting the chances, and confidence doesn't just come like that, even for someone like Harry Kane. Adama for wing-back, yeah, it's an option. I mean, I guess he would offer so much more in terms of ball progression, because at the moment, with that too, I feel like you need 3 in midfield. You need someone who's going to progress the ball, like Ndombele can do. It just seems like there's always like some sort of subplot with Ndombele, and that's always going to be a problem for them. I think there's so few in that squad that are up to it. How would you fix Spurs? I think Conte was like, yeah, I need quite a lot of money in January and the summer. Sorry, hiccups. I was like, I think that's a fair point. I think you go, what do you need, Conte? Let's go. Give him a sizable budget. Trust you've been able to get yourself a world-class elite manager. Work with him. Get the players that he wants. Keep him happy. Keep him there. That is your best shot. And evolve. You have to evolve this team. If we have a look at it one last time, there's just so few who are up to it. How many? Because even say someone like Lucas Moura, I quite like. Can he get to? He can't get to Mane level, can he? I can't see him. The output's never going to be there. So even he's not actually up to it. And you look at the players they were able to bring on. It was amazing. It's absolutely amazing the quality that they had on the bench. Where is it? Kovacic you're bringing on. Do you know what I mean? All these players that they bring, Loftus-Cheek maybe that's great, but Timo Werner, the amount of money that you spent on that, Pulisic coming on as well, it's just it's astounding, and it's kind of not their fault, but it kind of is as well, because all of these players that they have sold to different people, they could have kept them, and they could have strengthened. I think they look back at the Pochettino days and they go, what have you done? What have you bloody done? The wing-back positions are a problem. You got Reguilon on the left-hand side. I do not think Emerson Royal is the one. He needs to get a lot better for him to be able to do that. I think it's tough times for him. Why doesn't Conte use 3-5-2? Best performance of the season formation. I get it. I think that makes sense. Just there's a lot miles off. Absolutely miles off. So there you go, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this stream, I'm going to be trying to do lots more for all the big games coming up. So make sure you hit the notification bell as well. That way you'll be notified, obviously, every time a video goes live or I go live. Hit the like button as well. Massively helps all the videos. Oh, and check out the JLA Shorts channel. It's just started, and we're trying to get going on that one. So every subscription helps. Do you know what I mean? All right. All the best, guys. Lots of love. See you soon. Au revoir.